including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the work.
Hey, it's Tom. Going solar is a great way to save on energy costs. By using the sun to power your house, you can feel good about an investment that will last for years. All Energy Solar is a locally trusted turnkey solar installer that's been around since 2009. They provide custom designs and quality installations of solar panel systems that work for your energy needs. One of the best parts about going solar is it's an investment that can pay for itself. Your system can pay back 100% of the installation cost in as little as 8 years. Plus, a system from All Energy Solar can pay back over 300% of its cost over its lifetime. There's also many tax incentives and rebates available, and the experts at All Energy Solar can walk you through the entire process to make sure you're saving as much as possible. So go green, both financially and environmentally, with All Energy Solar. Get a free, no-obligation assessment from All Energy Solar by calling 800-620-3370 or visiting allenergysolar.com.
Are you ready to make a difference? Better Futures Minnesota is calling on you to join their Breaking Barriers to Employment fundraising campaign during Give to the Max, now through November 16th. Better Futures Minnesota provides job training and essential support to a population of men who have been locked out of society, living in chronic poverty with histories of incarceration, persistent unemployment, untreated mental illness, addiction, and homelessness. Your tax-deductible donation, no matter the size, can help break down the barriers to employment and pave the way for brighter futures. Let's stand together as a community and show our support. Visit betterfuturesminnesota.com and click the Give to the Max button at the top of the page to contribute to this vital cause. Your dollars will directly impact someone's journey to employment. Your support can change lives. Please act today. Visit betterfuturesminnesota.com and make your tax-deductible contribution before or on November 16th. Thank you, Minnesota, for your generosity.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 40, Tuesday partly sunny with a high near 63, and Wednesday sunny with a high around 58. Interact Center's Hell is Empty and All the Devils Are Here Again offers a much-needed communal laugh and is in the spirit of radical inclusion. Their performance is at the Luminary Arts Center in Minneapolis now until November 18th. Get your tickets now. InteractCenterArts.org. That's InteractCenterArts.org.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a long time since I've been on the radio or talked to you, Haley. It's been a
weekend.
Yeah, exactly. I was in New York, and we went to the 9/11 memorial, which is a heavy duty thing, Wendy and I, and felt the spirits of all the people that passed on, and very powerful. Also, we had Veterans Day, Haley, and I know the Governor Evers is going to talk a little bit about that, but we Native Americans per capita are the most have the most people that are in any kind of service, and we know people are veterans are way up there on top, right with the elders when it comes to us loving them and respecting them. So it's a big deal in the Native community, and I just wanted to bring that up again. I know we talked a little bit about that before the show, and then I want to give a quick shout out to Sarah Jost, who here in St. Paul became city council member for the first time, and now Haley, we have all women city council members in the city of Minnesota or city of St. Paul, which is totally amazing.
Yes, all women and all of color, which deserves a huge round of applause, in my opinion. So congratulations to all of you women out there that won.
We got a couple people coming on today too. We got Maren Hardy, Spirit Care Service, and we're going to talk a little housing and things like that. And our friend Angie Vig and her husband are going to swing by at the end of the show. And you just don't know who you're hanging out with and who's hanging out with who, right? It's like, hey, that person and that person, so you've cracked a story that it's going to be fun to talk about. So. Really exciting. Why don't we, Haley, listen to Governor Evers and maybe have a little discussion on that. Here's our weekly update from the Governor Evers, the governor of Wisconsin.
Our Native Roots Radio, Governor Tony Evers here with my weekly update. As we celebrate Veterans Day, we're honoring all the brave individuals who sacrificed and selflessly served our country. Every day, but especially as we honor Veterans Day, we reflect on how we can give back to our veterans and how we can support them just as they've supported us. There are more than 300,000 veterans who call our state home, and my administration and I have committed to making sure each of them has access to the resources and support they've earned through their service. In support of this effort, I was proud to create our Blue Ribbon Commission on Veteran Opportunity. This commission was made up of veteran advocates, leaders in the veterans community, and most importantly, veterans and their families. And based on their recommendations, last year I announced a $10 million investment to bolster veteran services statewide. This critical investment went towards funding for veteran mental health initiatives, veteran housing and employment assistance, and supporting the Veterans Outreach and Recovery Program, also additional resources for county and tribal veteran service offices. I was also proud to sign a budget earlier this year that builds upon this important work, including increases in funding for county and tribal veteran services offices by 25%. But our work can't stop there. I remain committed to advancing initiatives to invest in rental assistance for veterans, in job training and education, and support for mental and behavioral health services, as well as making Veterans Day a state holiday. After all our veterans have given in service to our state and our country, we must do more to make sure our veterans and their families have the support and services they need to thrive. We owe our nation's heroes and their families a tremendous debt of gratitude, and we offer our sincere appreciation to our veterans for their selfless service and immense sacrifices. To Wisconsin veterans, on behalf of our entire state, thank you and happy Veterans Day. Back to you, Robert, and Native Roots Radio.
Hey, thanks, Governor Evers. Really, our veterans are so important. So yeah, nice update, and we really appreciate the governor of the great state of Wisconsin dropping in every week and giving us an update. Haley, so what did you do this weekend?
Well, yeah. Well, since we're on the topic of Veterans Day, I just want to give a shout out to my grandpa, who actually is no longer with us, but Kevin. He was a veteran and he served in Vietnam. So I just want to shout out and remember him. But this weekend, I had a really great weekend. Stevie Nicks was in town with Billy Joel on Friday here in the Twin Cities, and they played at US Bank Stadium, which was actually my first concert at the bank. And sound quality was decent, actually, in my opinion, but They did a great show. Stevie performed before Billy did, and she did her live version of Rhiannon, which is actually the 2005 live version, which is my favorite. So I was very pleased that she chose to do that one. And Billy Joel can still hit those high notes from back in his day. So
Yeah, definitely. Seen Billy Joel in the 70s and 80s. Haven't seen him recently, but he puts on a heck of a show. I should give a shout out to the original Robert Pilot. He was also a veteran of World War II and the Korea War. So big shout out to my father, Robert Pilot, too. So that's a good call. You know, these veterans have really, stood up for us for all these years, and we really want to give them their just due here. The concert, though, Stevie Nicks, yes, Landslide and all those songs, definitely appreciate.
she did. She sang some of her songs that she did with Fleetwood Mac, which she actually wrote a lot of their stuff. So
Yeah, there was a lot of drama going on there, and I remember their big album. They gave a big shout out in the back of their album. They're the cocaine dealer, So the '70s were a little different back then, and her and her beau were breaking up during that album, and they both were writing songs at each other. So that was pretty interesting era. But what a great album, and what a great artist that Stevie Nicks is and has been all these years.
yeah, well, she did. She was really close with Tom Petty back in those days too. Did a lot of songs with him. Stop Dragging My Heart Around was one of their biggest ones, and but yeah, they were really close. So I think that was hard on her when Tom Petty passed. But she did a couple really beautiful tributes to him. So
Yeah, well, Haley, was hard on us too, us baby boomers. I mean, I think Tom Petty's first hit was when I was a junior in high school. That's what's sad and crazy at the same time. He was on for so long, but again, back to the veterans. We really appreciate them, and really appreciate the great words that Governor Evers gave us today about the veterans, and we always need to keep them in our forefront. And so, again, hey, I'm a little off here on the show, Haley. It seems like it's been a month since I've been on, but it was just last week, wasn't it?
I know. Well, I think the time change might have got you to there, Dega. So because
Well,
daylight saving.
a little mini jet lag too.
Mhm.
Even though it's just coming from New York back home, it's still a little drag there. I had my nephews, or my great nephew had a birthday. He was one or 2 years old, and so it was fun seeing the whole side of the family, Wendy's side of the family. So here we are, doing radio live.
Doing it.
Right on. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. Up next, Maren Hardy. We're going to talk a little Spirit Care Services and what's going on here in Minnesota here. So we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Unwanted sexting or photos, inappropriate jokes, even tickling or wrestling can feel like a violation. Catcalling, cornering, or groping, getting them drunk or high for sex, recording sexual acts without permission, hurting someone because of their sexual orientation, raping a family member, a child, a date, a friend, a stranger, purchasing a human being for sex. You make the choice every single time. Sexual violence is many things. Make a choice. Do not do it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Are you thinking about college? Consider checking out Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl. Howl! J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
This is Leonard Peltier. I am in Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute in Minneapolis.
Yes, it is. Hey, we're here with Maren Hardy, and I see you got your Vikings hat. I gotta before we get heavy and down dirty. And yeah, you're so you were there in Atlanta. So didn't you you were like the reason why they won, and we brought this new guy in.
I'm kind of thinking, because I had this sweatshirt on and this hat on, that, we had about 12 of us there, a couple of Atlanta Falcons fans, boo. But, it was just so much fun. There were so many Vikings fans down there. I saw a couple people, and it was so much fun. And we made a couple Falcons fans move from in front of us who weren't, really kind of weren't very friendly, but they had to hit the road. So, yeah, it was a blast.
Well, it's not a dream because Dobbs did it again this week.
Wow. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Got a little visitor there, you guys. Sorry. He was so impressive, wasn't he? It's like a quarterback who can actually move the ball also is kind of a secret weapon for the Vikings. And as you know, when I was little, I just knew I was going to marry Ahmad Rashad. So my faith has always been with them, but I'll always be a believer. What can you do?
Well, they call the new quarterback what is it, a pastronaut? He's a pastronaut, so he's has a degree, and he could be an astronaut if he wanted to be or move into it, and he's also a passer, so he's a pastronaut.
I love it. We'll take whatever he is. Just wrap them all into one. We'll take that burrito.
Right on. And, we got a lot of people in Wisconsin that listen to the show. We're on 18 stations, Maren, and so we have to rub it in because, we have to get our chance because every time I say anything, they go, well, we have all these, how many championships do you have? And I go, well, you guys don't remember in 1969, before the NFL and AFL merged, we had the last NFL championship in 1969, the Vikings. So, poo.
There you go. We'll say that again, Robert. We need to keep remembering that. Hi, you guys.
Yeah, how you doing? Got a lot going on, and with your spirit care service here in Minneapolis and housing, it just does not stop, does it?
No, you know what, Robert, Haley, it just really doesn't, and it's so exciting. It's kind of beyond what we ever really dreamed it would be right now. And with these incredible people backing us and supporting us and guiding us through, we actually have we got one elder housed out of Homeward Bound. Working on a second. Got his bridging has been super busy. I just got notice today that his bridging appointment was set up, but not until February, which is good because that means people are getting housed. But I'll tell you, there's been so much support for him that he really didn't need much. He only needs like a bigger bed and maybe a couple dressers. So, but other than that, it's just been, it's so exciting and it's rewarding and it's just gone. The creator is really, really working in mysterious, fun fun ways. And like I said, lots of people supporting us. It's exciting.
So let's back up a little bit and let our audience know what you're talking about and a little bit about Spirit Care Services.
Sure. So Spirit Care Services is a waiver provider company where we do, and I often refer to when we were younger, we had home health aid jobs. A lot of us in my age, so we're going and we're helping with homemaking, chores, putting groceries away, dishes, transportation, just light duties, not deep cleaning or anything like that. And what we found out recently was our Native elders were not getting these services. They were the least served population. And so Maxine, my business partner, co-founder, and I thought, well, why aren't we just doing this for ourselves? Since I know all the elders, I worked at the Division of Indian Work, doing that for 9 years. Maxine is super business smart, like crazy OCD, like brilliant. And we just put it together, and we've had Leonard Gishik and Diane Graff and Jetta. I mean, all these people really, really, Mackenzie Nolan. I mean, just these people who have really supported us doing this work. And right now we have about 13 clients. We've hired 3 people, and it's we've contracted with a Native grant writer to write 3 grants for us that are coming up in the next 2 months. And so it's just, when we found out the need that it was missing, we just boots on the ground when the rubber meets the road and took off. And we have clients, not just Native clients, which is exciting. And I was at St. Paul Homes just today talking with their property manager, and they were working with UCare. And they had literally said, well, we're having a hard time finding providers. And Pat said, not me. I've got Spirit Care Services in-house. So that was exciting because we'll have another client in St. Paul Homes. So it's just, it doesn't even feel like I'm going to work. It really doesn't. And I have 2 elders. 2 of my clients are in the hospital. One was getting discharged today and the other, we were there for it. It's just, when you know that our elders are by themselves and you can be there and they depend on you, that's what Spirit Care Services is all about. Our dependability, reliability, and compassion. And I'll get a little choked up. It's just what the missing piece, and especially as we know in our communities, the way we were brought up. And it's just, it's a joy. It's a dream come true, not only to work with my best friend, but to do something that I know I'm really good at and I make a difference.
So let's talk a little bit from beginning to end. So you get a client, and this client might need help with.
So say you have a client who is like at like Beatty Gain or Elders Lodge, and they're having trouble picking up their laundry or taking out the trash or transportation in Phillips, which we don't want our elders having to take the bus. So what we used to step in and say, we help them get the assessment through their insurance. It's almost like we walk with them the whole way. So they get an assessment through their insurance. We make sure they do that. We make sure that we line up the right client with the right employee. We introduce them to the employee first and make sure it's the right fit. We find out how many hours they need. I mean, to me, I'd rather have them have too many hours so we don't have to fight for them later. So say you have 3 hours a week. Well, that's not okay. I mean, 3 hours a week, what does that do? So I'm always pushing for at least 10 hours with maybe another 5 hours of transportation in case they want to go to a powwow or they want to go to a different food shelf or they want to go to Salvation Army. I mean, it's not wherever they want to go. And then we end up with that. We work really closely with case managers. We work really closely with Medica, UCare, all these insurance medical assistants, just making sure that they know we are there. I will be at the assessments. So that just know that, it's just making sure that all their services, all their needs are met to make sure they stay in their homes longer.
Yeah. And that's so important. I mean, all our elders are so important to us, and also they've worked so hard all their lives and they deserve this. So what a great gap you guys are filling. It's just, it is exciting, and we can see it on your face, anybody watching us here on Facebook or YouTube, but it's awesome. I mean, not only the Vikings have won 5 in a row, but it sounds like you're winning too.
Yeah, I really feel like that, Robert. It's just, we've had some ups and downs. We've had some battles with some MCOs, some insurance, but for the most part, people have been really receptive. And I'm, like I said before, and the last time I was on the show, is I don't really take no for an answer very well, especially when I know it's something that they're afforded, and plus that Lieutenant Governor Flanagan has allocated these funds for. And I'm just like, listen, you're not doing your job, and we will report you. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, what are you going to do? Fire me? It's just so it's fun because I'm the kind of person that I don't take no for an answer lightly.
How can we get a hold of you? How can people listening get a hold of you?
Yes. Oh shoot, I just had I have my card. Of course, hold on one second, and I know Maxine's listening to this too, and she's like, "Oh my god." But
Maren, you shouted out one of my good friends, Mackenzie Nolan. So shout out to her.
Yes.
But I just got to say, like, big Peanut Geeky, thank you for doing this specific work for our elders, because we all know winter's coming up, and winter in Minnesota, especially if you're houseless, is brutal and, deadly.
Yeah, exactly. And especially our elders, because they're the ones who are forgotten about, right? I mean, they're the ones that we battle for, because none of us would be here without them. None of us. And I think that it's so easy to forget that. And I remember when I probably said the story before, but I remember when my grandma was in assisted living, we made sure that she had a visit every single day because of elder abuse. And and we just were like, and we look at people like, hey, we see you, you see us. So it's about being present. And I think that's the important piece for us.
Absolutely. Hey, Google Spear Care Services here, and it'll pop right up, and reach out to them for this great service. And Maren, thank you so much. Skol Vikings. Maybe we'll have you on every Monday to talk about the Vikings for us.
I love it.
Well, write that down, Haley. I have a good memory, but it's short. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break. Thanks, Maren.
You're welcome. Gigawabaman.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Wabin. I am an enrolled member of the White Earth Nation, descendant of the Navajo Nation, and co-chair of the Indigenous Employee Resource Group with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. MnDOT is hiring for a variety of positions from road maintenance to accounting and more. We offer great benefits. For more information or to set up a one-on-one resume and application assistance, visit mn.gov/careers, or you can text or call 612-257-2388. 612-257-2388.
Be a vaccinative. As the fall season continues, new COVID-19 variants threaten the health of not just you, but our elders as well. These new variants might even evade previous vaccines. That's why it's important to stay up to date. The newly authorized vaccines target current variants effectively and are FDA approved for ages 6 months and older. But there is an important note. These are the first COVID vaccines to be commercialized, which means there may be costs associated with them. Speak with your health insurer about your coverage before scheduling an appointment to avoid a surprise bill. For those without health insurance, help is available. Ask your health clinic about options or visit vaccines.gov for free locations. Getting vaccinated protects you from severe disease. Don't put yourself or elders at risk. So be a vaccinative and protect our community. You can visit vaccines.gov for free vaccine locations.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality, comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Unveil the captivating world of native photography at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Their new exhibit, In Our Hands, Native Photography 1890 to Now, turns the camera around and puts native photographers in control, featuring hundreds of photographs captured by generations of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and Native Americans. You'll view the world through their lens, revealing the beauty and complexity of Indigenous heritage. Don't miss this incredible experience. Visit In Our Hands at the Minneapolis Institute of Art now through January 14th. For more info, visit artsmia.org.
Temperatures are cooling off and fall migration is underway. Do you know what that means? Eagle viewing season is almost here, and the National Eagle Center is your headquarters for information and experiences. This winter, experience bald and golden eagles in the wild with an unforgettable expert-led field trip. Plan your private eagle habitat tour and learn where the best eagle viewing is with weekly eagle counts. Plus, you can visit the eagles at the center all season long. Plan your visit or experience today online at nationaleaglecenter.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 40, Tuesday partly sunny with a high near 63, and Wednesday sunny with a high around 58. Don't just settle for what's in the cupboard. Elevate your meals with premium oils and vinegars from Vinaigrette. They offer the finest selection of extra virgin olive oils, balsamic vinegars, fused extra virgin olive oils, white balsamic vinegars, and wine vinegars. Vinaigrette is located at 50th and Xerxes in Minneapolis. More at vinaigrettemn.com.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Support honest Native news from natives themselves. Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon.
They sound like a bunch of people I'd like to know, those Native Roots Patreons. Hey, welcome back. And I just wanted to read this real quick about what we talked about in the first segment, Haley, about our city council here. And this is from the Star Trib. Ramsey County election judges confirmed civil engineer Sarah Jost victory in the 3rd Ward. That's where I live in St. Paul, wrapping up a historic election year for Minnesota's capital city. Voters last week elected women to all 7 of the city council's seats, 6 of whom are people of color. And when the new council is sworn in at the start of next year, all 7 members will be under the age of 40. That's significant, and that's right on.
That's exactly what we need here in St. Paul, isn't it? The younger generations coming in, leading the way.
Well, too, and we talk about this a lot, and especially having you on, Haley, we really love talking about this, is that in this last election cycle, Gen Zs were out in full force again. There were elections across the country that people, because of polling, and I don't think, have you ever been polled? I don't think Gen Zs get polled, so they don't have phones. They don't pick up phones and answer questions. They're too busy TikToking and stuff, to get their so I mean, these polls, I don't think they've been right for the last 3 or 4 presidential elections, let alone local and national elections. So 3 cheers to the Gen Zs that are really kicking it in and are sick and tired of being sick and tired with what's going on.
Hey, right on with that. Well, and Katie Cashman, who we had on Native Roots, I believe that was on November 2nd, but we had Katie Cashman on, and Katie was running for Ward 7, I believe,
yes,
in Minneapolis, and she won. So congratulations, Katie.
Yeah, we're very lucky to meet a lot of these people like Katie, like Sarah. Sarah was on the show too. Up and coming politicians, and Sarah is really she went to St. Paul Central, which I did, which makes her cool, and also she is a engineer. So there's a lot of things going on there, especially with the way all this housing's being built, and you almost need an engineer to really speak up for what's happening to the building or the overbuilding or of housing here in Minnesota, or the lack of affordable housing and all those things that we care about here on Native Roots Radio, Haley.
Yes. Well, actually, for Ramsey County, they actually just put out something recently. It was their Ramsey County Housing Stability 2023-2024 cold weather plan for unsheltered residents. And this gives you primary warming spaces for single adults, which is at the St. Paul Opportunity Center right off of Dorothy Day Place there in St. Paul. And then also for families and youth ages 14 through 24, the Central Baptist Church there on 420 North Roy Street in St. Paul.
Yeah, definitely. It is getting to be that time of year. I know it's a little warmer here in the Twin Cities today, and unseasonably warm, but that's not going to be the case soon enough. And we know how quickly the weather can change and does change. So we have to really be worried and weary and thinking of our relatives that are unsheltered. Of course, we had that 3 years ago, the Wall of Forgotten Natives in Minneapolis, where there were 300 people living in tents. And they were all there, but we have more than that in the Twin Cities that are homeless. And I don't like to say it like that, but they don't have a place to stay, and we need to really be aware of it and help any way we can. And here at Native Roots Radio, we want to always talk about it, keep it in the forefront, that these people are people and they need our help, and whatever way we can help, let's do it.
Right, exactly. And yeah, we have a couple good things going on that's always free down on Franklin Avenue, thanks to a lot of our great organizations in the Native American community, such as NAC. Dr. Stately usually is on with us on Monday. So I just want to shout out that NAC's November Cedar Ceremony is Thursday, November 30th at 5 p.m. And that is at the Little Earth Gym, 2501 Cedar Avenue, South Minneapolis. And then they will be doing another full moon ceremony Monday, November 27th at 5 p.m.
Yes, and what we talked about earlier too, about American Indian veterans have the highest record of military service. American Indians and Alaskan Natives serve in the armed forces at 5 times the national average and have served with distinction in every major conflict for over 200 years. Just amazing. Hey, Haley, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but I saw on the flight home, I watched Smoke Signals again. So I've seen, probably about 50 times, but it was definitely well worth it. And what's fun and funny is that I flew in on Delta and they had that on their movie thing. So that was one of the movies you could pick from. So I was just trying to keep that kind of thing going and pick it, you know what I mean? Get the biorhythms of picking that movie. So
yeah, and you flying Delta, who would have thought that?
Well, they're out of here. Oh, are you making? Oh, was that a joke?
I was making a joke.
Oh, yeah. I'm still a little jet lagged. Hey, we got we have like 6 minutes left here. Why don't we? I see Angie and Ted are ready to come on. Why don't we grab them on? And Haley, why don't you take over this interview a little bit here, because there's some exciting stuff that I did not know about. But Haley, why don't you take it away and introduce our next guest here?
Yeah, well, there was a bunch of fun stuff going on here in the Twin Cities while you were out in New York, Robert, which seems like a trend. A lot of fun things happen when you're out of town. But yeah, so I actually was surfing through my Facebook page, as I do in the mornings, and my good friend Angie Vig here posted something very, very exciting. And she's with her husband, Ted. And I don't know if this is Ted's first time on Native Roots Radio, but welcome. And you had a very exciting experience over the weekend. And I'm hoping you could tell our listeners what that was.
Sure. Well, I got to be Adam Sandler's guitar tech, which was super fun.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear us?
Let me speak up a little bit. So I got to be Adam Sandler's guitar tech, which was really fun.
Where did Adam play?
At Target Center, downtown Minneapolis.
Nice.
What
Nice.
were they in town for? So it was a multitude of people. What were they performing? A comedy sketch, or what were they doing?
Yeah. Well, it was a whole comedy concert show. And so he had a bunch of guests that showed up. He had Kevin
James.
Thank you. I keep forgetting his last name. And Rob Schneider. And then, I'm spacing her name from Saturday Night Live, Sarah.
I can't remember.
Can't remember.
She's
anyway,
great.
but and they were like openers, and then they'd come up with him for certain numbers too. And there was a lot of music, a lot of songs that he did.
Guitars on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Ted and Angie of our friends from Vig Guitars on Snelling Avenue here in St. Paul. Adam Sandler, when he hosted Saturday Night Live, did an unbelievable tribute to Chris Farley. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it was. Did he play that or sing that in his concert? Because that was a tearjerker.
Yeah, he did that at the end of the show, and it was really great. And there was kind of there were 3 giant screens behind him, so he had kind of this video montage going the whole time. So it was,
yeah, well, he's it's so funny with Adam Sandler too. He was fired from Saturday Night Live, and then and it's how he does his little poetry and poems. He said he spit out a poem when he hosted the show that he was fired, and then all his movies have like accumulated $1 billion. So who won? Yeah. And then my favorite song from when he was on Saturday Night Live was the Jewish song, and he threw in even Rob Drew in there.
Yeah.
The Hanukkah song. Yes, thank you.
I just listened to it today, and it is so funny. He's just so brilliant, and like making up words like, Funica, Supersonica.
Find a word to rhyme.
Marijuana.
Marijuana, which is illegal here now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. What a Live Nation reached out to our friend who works for Live Nation, and she said, hey, they need a guitar tech. You want to do it? And he was kind of freaked out at first, but I was like, Ted, this will be so cool. And he used to do this for how many years?
About 5 years for the band Mint Condition. I used to travel with them.
What?
Yeah, local R&B group, Minnesota's own.
Yeah.
Well, I think you guys are the unsung heroes. Not only do you get the correct sounding guitar out to the artist for the song, you got to keep those babies and make sure they're in tune when you bring them out too.
Absolutely. And the thing about a big kind of stadium, like a bigger venue like that, is the temperature really fluctuates. So the tuning really fluctuates, and the guitars were out for about 6 hours before the show. So numerous times I would just keep grabbing them and keep tuning them as they kind of got acclimated, and it seemed to all go off great. But then the crazier part, at dinner, I go to dinner and I kind of finish my last bite and I stand up, and here comes Adam Sandler, and he looks at me, he says, well, I'll sit with you.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, so I sat right back down again and I talked to him for a little bit. I didn't know what to say aside from guitar stuff, but
isn't that just super kind that someone's sitting alone and he just comes and sits down and they get to chatting, and then Kevin James came and sat down and we're cracking both of them up, and oh my gosh,
it's pretty great.
I get to like FOMO. You guys got to call me. I know I was in New York. hang out with you guys. Got to hang out with you guys. You got West Studi stopping in.
Come to our show.
Yes, definitely.
To learn from this guy.
Let's talk. Let's get you back on here this last segment for just a little bit and talk about your store, and then I know time's tight here, so we'll talk about your store a little bit and how people can reach out to you and get an autograph from both you, Angie and Ted. So hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Back to school season is here. And while this is an exciting time for parents, kids, and educators, let's not forget how far we've come in our battle against COVID-19. We're in a better place, but COVID-19 is still here, and we need to continue to help protect our communities. With the flurry of new schedules and classrooms, let's not overlook the fundamentals of staying safe. Wash your hands regularly and watch for any symptoms like fever, chills, a cough, or shortness of breath. Should you or someone you know have COVID-19 symptoms, stay home and get tested. Find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us. Let's have this back to school season be a time of renewed commitment to our collective health and brighter future for our Native communities. Again, find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus over 30 extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
When a drunk driver hit my car, the structural integrity and safety features of my Toyota Sienna saved my life. I will always own one. That's it. That's the ad. I don't think I need to add anything else, but I'll gladly mention their sales team is attentive and friendly. Their service department is the best in the state, and their vehicles, you can put a lot of faith in the quality and safety of a Toyota vehicle. The structural integrity and safety features of my Toyota Sienna saved my life. I will always own one. That says it all. Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Wow, I didn't hear Angie and there we go. Oh, you're waiting for a solo. Oh, I see how you are. Hey, Haley, it's that time of year again, and it's so important that our friends and relatives know about this that need this.
Yes. So we're coming up on the end of the year. We're around a lot of relatives, a lot of family, a lot of germs, and you want to go into the new year refreshed with a brand new health insurance plan. So MNsure is really great. You know, they were created to assist you in finding that right plan, and regardless of your income. So find an affordable health plan today at MNsure.org.
Boy, we're lucky to have them, and I know you need insurance, and you can't be, left flat-footed and when things happen. But hey, do you like my terms there? We're with Angie and Ted Vig of Vig Guitars, our neighbors here in St. Paul. And I want you guys to be able to give a quick shout out of where you're at and your services real quick here. And you've been around for a long time now, and you guys are celebrities. Now I got to come in there and get pictures with Ted now. And geez.
Yeah, we just celebrated 9 years here, and we're at 595 Snelling Avenue North in St. Paul, across Reedus Thomas. Yeah, stop by anytime. Haley's been in. Haley came in a few weeks ago. I was tied up in a Zoom meeting, but she got some swag. Oh, she's wearing it right now. I didn't even notice.
Thank you, guys. You guys got some cool T-shirts over there.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I know Haley, there it is, Vig Guitars. I know Haley, Christmas is coming up soon, and Haley knows my size. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, so right now we're coming into a detrimental part of the year for guitars, and I'll have Ted talk more about that because we do so much repair here.
Yeah, winter is really dry, and guitars being made out of wood do not like that. The best thing you could do is get a little guitar humidifier. Most of them are right around $20. Keep it humidified. It'll keep cracks from happening, so you don't have to pay for any expensive repairs like that. And it'll also keep it playing kind of more uniformly year round because they move with the weather and with the seasons. But especially to avoid keeping your guitar from cracking. humidity is super important. And if all of a sudden, if it starts feeling weird, we do tons of setups this time of year. And then again, once it changes back to a more humid season in spring, because the guitars just keep moving with the weather, they still think they're a tree. So.
Wow. Yeah, that's new to me. I'm an old brass player that's tried to play a guitar over the years here, and that's really good information because I had no idea. You got a lot of people stopping in and going, "Hey, what's wrong with my guitar?" And sometimes it's weather, huh?
Yeah. Frequently it's weather. It's probably the most common thing. And a lot of people don't realize in Minnesota, you kind of need to have it adjusted a couple times a year because they do that. And a lot of people, they buy it, don't realize it needs it. It's hard to play. Then they hang it up for a few years and they grab it, still hard to play. And it's just a simple setup job that fixes all that. So.
I talked to Angie about this a long time ago when she was on a guest one of the first times, and I'll ask you, Ted. One of the interesting things for me when I picked my guitar is I'm a trumpet player. So if I played on a beginner's trumpet, I could not play as well as I could on a professional trumpet. And the same with guitars. You want to be able to, you can't be playing with one of these cheap guitars from China because they won't sound right. They won't stay in tune. Talk a little bit about that. It's it's an interesting thing where if a lot of people get frustrated because their guitars only, or a trumpet, I should say, I can only do so much because it's a student model.
Right. Yeah, we run into that with guitars quite a bit too. There are a lot of inexpensive guitars that come from China, but there are also nicer guitars. But the really inexpensive ones, like what you might find at Walmart, they're almost impossible to even set up to play properly. And so I think a lot of folks, they might get it for little whomever as a present, thinking this will be great. They can learn guitar, and it almost discourages them, and so it's better. Like everything we get in, we go through and set up and make sure that it plays really nice. And a lot of the big box stores, they don't do that kind of thing. Sometimes, but going to a store that actually deals with guitars instead of Walmart or any of those places is always a much better idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing too, a lot of people always think in terms of new things, and then you can get a used guitar of higher quality for the same price. It's even a better deal. So that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You can find some good stuff here.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When I bought my guitar, I got a pretty expensive. I said that story to them years ago about the guitar. I want to get a nice no frills guitar, and what that meant was it's a really nice sounding guitar, really nice guitar, but there was no special designs on there, and that made the guitar a little less expensive, and I was okay with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that's pretty to look at, but it doesn't make it sound or play any better. So,
yeah. Well, hey, before we let you guys go, give that address and tell us what next celebrities you guys are going to be hanging out with.
Who knows? 595 Snelling Avenue North in St. Paul. I was thinking every year we do some kind of drive here. Last year we did bakeware and all the accessories for baking and stuff for Ainda Young. We always do something for them every year. The year before that, we collected like gloves and mittens. Well, that's the same thing. And coats and jackets and scarves and stuff. And we just like to collect stuff for them every year. And we're trying to figure out what to do this year. So we're going to write to them and ask them what they're in need of this year, because our community is so generous and they come and drop off all sorts of stuff when we ask.
Yeah. Well, I know too, socks are a big deal for everybody. Everybody needs socks, whether they're homeless or they have 2 feet. So that's a good thing too.
This one customer of ours came in and he brought a couple packs of new socks, and he said, I used to be homeless. And he said, these are so, so important. He said, you here. And that was just so touching to me because he's been through it,
Right. Angie and Ted, let us know, and then we can promote it and also bring stuff up too. So let us know when you find out what kind of drive you're going to do.
I will. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Hey, you guys, thanks for so much for stopping in and telling us your story and teaching. I learned so much on this show, whether it's Wendy's Sacred Animals or guitars. I learned so much from this show. And the guests drive it. So I really appreciate you two stopping in tonight.
Anytime. Mikuch for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, right on. We'll talk to you soon. Good to see you. Wow, those guys are awesome, Haley.
They are, yeah. That's what a fun way to spend your weekend, and so nice of Adam Sandler to see someone sitting by himself and to
Yeah.
go sit by him. I just hope that each one of us and everyone listening would do the same thing.
Well, Adam Sandler will always be up there as a comedian for me because he got to fight Bob Barker. And which one was that? Which movie was that? But it's a famous thing where he got to fight Bob Barker. And it was interesting when Bob Barker passed away, Adam was one of the people that spoke at the funeral. So they kept a relationship for the last 15 years of Bob Barker's life. So things you learn and know, huh? Happy Gilmore, Angie and Ted. Happy Gilmore was the name of the movie. All right, hey, Native Roots Radio. If we're still here, we are the 7th generation.
And free Leonard Peltier.
Now.
Are you ready to make a difference? Better Futures